Hello, cooks, foodies, blind people, and watchers. Welcome back to Cooking Without Looking. My name is John, if you're new. And today, we're actually going to be making something called potato candy. Now, you may not have heard of this. I know a lot of people who haven't. Well, let me introduce it to you. Let me just adjust this camera a little bit, make sure we're good. All right, so potato candy is one of those recipes that some people just haven't heard of. So let's wash our hands while we're getting ready. And let's turn this light on so you guys can see, for those of you who are sighted. Okay. So, potato candy is very sweet. And before we get started, I'm going to warn you, if you make this recipe, do not eat too much of it. You will make yourself sick if you do. So, alright. Now, to save us time, and so that you guys don't have to watch anything boring, I've gone ahead and prepared the potatoes. So, they've already been cut and boiled and peeled. I peeled them before I cut them. So, the potatoes are ready. Now, I'm only using one potato, and that's really all you're going to need for this batch. So let's get our masher out, because you're going to need to mash it. If you recall, I said during my mashed potato video, you would need to know how to mash potatoes, and I was not joking. Alright, so let's bring this over here, and let's get to mashing. Now, you don't want to add anything to these. So no milk, no butter, no salt, none of that. You just want pure potato for what you're going to be doing. And I don't know, I've heard that some people don't even know what this is, that some people don't know what potato candy is. I've heard it's a West Virginia thing. I don't know, I mean, I live in West Virginia and I grew up with this. This is actually my mom's recipe. So, Christmas was just never complete without mom's potato candy. That much was for sure. Well, and cinnamon rolls. Had to have some cinnamon rolls, but that's a video for another day. Make sure you mash them really well. You don't want any chunks of potato in this one. You just want them mashed nice and fine. All right, I think we're good on that. Looks good. Now comes the fun part, and I'm going to put air quotes around the word fun, because this is actually not that much fun. Spin our hands. So a big thing about potato candy that you need is confection sugar. And I've got a big container of it right here. No, I didn't buy it like this. I took 2 bags and I poured them in here because, well, I hate getting it in and out of bags. So we're going to take 1/3 of a cup and dip it down in here. And we're actually going to start with 2 of these because I have a big potato in here. So, and warning, your hands are going to get dirty making this recipe. If you don't want them to, this is not the recipe for you. So you need to get in here and mix it. You're essentially making a dough out of the potatoes and the sugar. And you'll know you're done when it stops sticking to your hand. So I'm only going to use one hand to, knead this dough, because the other one can add the sugar. Now, warning, you want to add the sugar slowly, because I was making it one year and I got impatient and I poured way too much confection sugar in, and the whole thing just had to be tossed out. It was no good. So, and you're going to make a mess doing this, so just make sure you clean up. But there's a few times I've forgotten to clean up, and it's really upset some people, and I didn't mean to do it. So make sure you clean up. Yeah, it's going to feel kind of soupy at first. So I said, you're just gonna have to be patient with this recipe. It's a slow work in progress that you're gonna have to do. Make sure you knead all the sugar you pour into this bowl. Make sure you knead it into the recipe itself, into the potatoes. You want to blend them. Like I said, you're making a dough essentially out of this. And you're going to need a lot of sugar. Especially because I decided to use a big potato. I guess I could have just gotten away with a little one, but I like potato candy. So we're going with a big one. Plus, with Christmas being in 2 days at the time of this recording, why not have some extra for the family? And like I said, this is a very good recipe to make for your family around the holidays. Just keep stirring, even if it feels like it's getting soupier. Just trust me and keep adding the sugar slowly but surely. You will get what you need out of all of this. So just keep adding the sugar. I've already lost count of how many thirds I've added. As it all depends on the potato. And the size of the potato you're using determines how much sugar you need. Yeah, it's starting to thicken up a little, but it's not nearly there yet, so we're gonna need more. The only thing that really annoys me about this confection sugar, it makes a mess. I'm gonna have to deep clean this kitchen, which sucks because my grandfather just cleaned it last night. So I feel kind of bad, but I'll make sure I clean it before he gets home. So it's starting to thicken. Still not there yet, though. I know whenever I've talked to people about this recipe, they've been kind of skeptical. They're like, you can't make something sweet out of potatoes. Well, you can here. I said, this is my mom's recipe, but it's very popular in West Virginia. Plenty of people I know this recipe. So I don't know if it's just a West Virginia thing or not. I guess if you didn't know, I do live in West Virginia, so shocker. I'm not telling you where, so don't ask. Okay. Just gotta slowly add it in. It's starting to get there. It's starting to get there because it's starting to stick to my hands more, and it's becoming like goopier, thicker, which is good. We want it to be. Mixing. Just keep stirring. I guess you could use a spoon, but I don't know. I don't, because you don't know you don't know when you're at the right consistency with a spoon. So make sure your hands are clean, and you can use your hands to do this. So just keep stirring. Just keep mixing it up. Alright, welcome back. So we had some technical difficulties that I had to take care of, and then the potato candy just got a little out of hand. But now we're back. So you have your dough now, and just so you know, it took me almost 2 bags of confection sugar to make this dough. Do not use a big potato. I don't know why I didn't think of that. But let's move on to the next thing. We'll clean that up in just a second. So now you're going to get some parchment paper out. Use a little too much than not enough. Let me pick this up off the floor over here. I knocked over the tin foil. There we go. Alright. parchment paper and lay it down. Get it as flat as you can. And take your dough and pour it onto the paper. Perfect. And for those of you who can see, you should see what the dough looks like. It should be about this consistency. So lay it out. Now get a rolling pin. Here we go. All right, get your rolling pin. And you're gonna wanna flatten this, so it's gonna take you a little bit of time. So get in there and flatten this whole lump of dough until it is, well, flat. And I used a baked potato, which was my first mistake. I always forget how much this stuff makes. So, word of the wise, use a little potato. You do not need this much dough. Honestly, I could probably make 2 rolls of potato candy with this, and it would still be a lot. As it stands right now, I hope some people in my house like potato candy. Yeah, I know a couple people who like it. I'll give it to them as a Christmas present. But use a small potato. Trust me, you do not want something this big just cluttering up your house. So just roll it until it's flat. You want it very flat. Try to make it a little even. If it's a little off here and there, you know, no one's gonna say anything, but you don't want it to be like really long and thick on one side and really narrow on the other. That just messes up the whole dynamic. So try to make it even if you can. And above all, keep it on the parchment paper. You do not want to clean this mess up. I've already had to clean up some mess. That's part of what we were doing during the break. But let's get in here, flatten it all out. Just flatten it out. There we go. And then honestly, probably take, since this is so thick, I'm actually gonna take it and run it across this way too. So I ran it lengthwise, now I'm gonna run it widthwise. I want a nice flat lump of what I'm going to affectionately term potato dough. Yeah, this stuff is very addictive in my experience, so be careful. But if you can see it, actually, I'll break off a little piece and show you guys. So you see how this dough looks? This is what you want from your dough. You want it to be nice and supple. You want to be able to squish it and move it around and stuff like that. So that's what you want. Make sure you have it. If not, keep adding sugar. All right, so I think we flattened this pretty well out. And of course I went over the edge of my parchment paper because why not something good simple. Okay, so let me put this in the sink and I'll get the last thing we need. All right. The last thing you need for potato candy is peanut butter. You want nice, smooth peanut butter. Get this bowl out of the way too. Here we go. All right, perfect. Like I said, you want nice, smooth peanut butter. So get your big old spoon out. That looks big enough. And here's a nice big spoonful of peanut butter. And slop it right in the middle of that potato candy. And then you know what, something this size, I'm actually gonna need 2 spoons of peanut butter. Maybe way too much. Do not repeat my mistakes. Okay, I'm gonna leave the peanut butter out in case we need more. But let me get a knife so I can start spreading this peanut butter on the potato dough. spread this peanut butter. Not a knife. There it is. Perfect. All right. Spread your peanut butter. Try and make it even. You don't want a thick. You don't need a thick layer of it. You just want a nice, thin layer of peanut butter on here. And if you want to keep it more towards the middle and away from the edges, that's fine. Okay. We're gonna need more peanut butter. Let's get another spoonful of it. Unfortunately, if you have peanut allergy, I guess you could do this with this, I don't know if you guys know about that sunflower peanut butter, like the peanut butter they make out of sunflower seeds instead. I don't know, one of you guys in the comments, let me know if that's a thing. I've heard of it, but I don't know. If it is, I can't promise it'll work with this recipe, but it's worth a try. So this is going to be a recipe. You're going to get your hands dirty. There's no avoiding it. So my concern is the kitchen. I just don't want the kitchen to be dirty. Okay. All right. Well, that's not pretty, but it's workable. So let's clean our hands, cut some peanut butter. Ow. Oh, that's my air fryer. I was like, wait a minute, I'm on the wrong side of the sink. All right. Now, the last step you need to do with potato candy is roll it up. So, pick an end, any end. I'm gonna pick this one over here since it's off the parchment paper a little. Pick it up and start rolling it. It's gonna crack a little bit. Maybe a little too. I spread a little too much. No, it's fine. It's fine. Just pick it up and roll it. You should almost have a sushi roll looking thing when you're done. Just be gentle with it. And because we've reached the end of that, I'm actually going to put this end up and finish rolling it this way. And then pinch the ends down if you need to, because I rolled it the wrong way. Of course I did. Okay, and if you need to, press down on it, flatten it out a little bit once you finish rolling it. That is done. Now, you're going to want to put this in the fridge for a little bit. So wrap it up in this parchment paper and put it in the fridge for probably about an hour or two, I would say. Just so it, finishes setting and stuff. You don't want to eat it right now. It wouldn't be a problem, but you just really don't want to eat it right now. So I forgot to put the spoon in the sink from the peanut butter, so I'm going to do that, including the peanut butter lid. I'm a little all over the place today, guys. Okay. I'll put this peanut butter away and then I'll wrap it up. Alright. And then once it's had time to cool, you'll take a knife and you'll cut it just like a sushi roll. Okay. Alright, so let's put this away. Get the fridge open. By the way, word to the wise, you don't want to make this recipe by yourself. It's more of a hassle that way. If you make it with 2 or more people, you have help. Slide it into the fridge and let it set for about, I'm going to give it 2 hours before I cut it. And so, that is potato candy. And also, that marks our first dessert video we've ever made on this channel. So, I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. I really hope you'll make it for your families this season. If you have any more suggestions that you'd like me to make, just feel free to go ahead and put them in the comment section. If you're new, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Again, my name is John. This is Cooking Without Looking. Have a great day, and God bless you.